Hello, everybody, and welcome to the January 29th episode of ECW here on the channel. And we are starting the show off right away with Zack Ryder. We are back in Canada here at the Budweiser Gardens. Obviously, last week Brock Lesnar told Zack Ryder that he wouldn't wrestle him in Canada, and Zack Ryder is opening the show demanding a title match. The crowd's cheering on me. Says that Brock's been scared to face him in Canada, so. You know what? Instead of facing him today in Canada, why doesn't Brock just face him this weekend in Indianapolis at the Royal Rumble? He calls out Vince. You call yourself a boss, Vince? Start acting like one. Book the match. Or are you scared of what happens when your cash cow Brock Lesnar actually steps in the ring with me? Maybe you're afraid that he'll lose his title that he just won. And Vince comes out, he's smirking. The crowd is booing Vince. Vince says that, Brock's not scared of Ryder. He just refuses to give you people, the Canadians, the satisfaction of seeing him fight in front of Zack Ryder and his Canadian wife and her hockey-loving friends. Brock Lesnar will defend his title, but only on American soil. And Stephanie comes out, she's got to be the angel on the shoulder. If ECW's got two, you got the devil and the angel on the shoulders, it's Vince and Stephanie. And the angel comes out to interrupt Vince. She says that, Zack Ryder has earned his title shot. And in Indianapolis at the Royal Rumble, it's official. Zack Ryder will face Brock Lesnar for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. And she already has the contract ready. She typed it out before the show. She brings it out to the ring. Zack Ryder immediately signs it. And, Brock Lesnar's not out there. So, he calls for Brock Lesnar to come out. And he comes out from the crowd. He sneaks into the ring behind Stephanie and Zack Ryder. He attacks Ryder. He hits him with a chair. And then he hits him with an F5. And he signs the contract. And that segment gets a 68. And the crowd is enjoying it so far. I'm happy with that. We go backstage to Kurt Angle, who's talking to the Stevensons. Obviously, he's been working out with them. And then also Ashante, Adonis, and Cedric Alexander, who are the new top contenders for the tag team titles. And Kurt Angle tells all four of them that he wants to see, an appetizer before the main course. And he says that, next up, Bobby Stevenson will face Cedric out in the ring. And so we go out to that segment gets a 54, which I'm happy about. Decent enough. The crowd's still hot. I'm happy. We go out to that match. Bobby Stevenson versus Cedric Alexander. And Bobby Stevenson, he starts off hot. He's dominating. He's getting some suplexes in. He gets the ground control. He's showing off his amateur wrestling background, Gable, cheering him on from the ringside. Adonis trying to tell Cedric to get back into it. Bobby goes for his finisher, but Cedric is able to escape. He bounces off the ropes to hit a lumbar check on Bobby Stevenson, and he goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Cedric Alexander. He wins the appetizer, setting up for the match, the tag team title match, which we'll see if I do next week. I still have to book that. I booked a few stories a few weeks ahead, but you never know if people get injured or anything. But Cedric with a 47, Bobby with a 33. That gets a 46. That match is all right. I told him to go steal the show, and Cedric got a bonus for going all out, and Stevenson, Bobby, was penalized for doing so because he's not experienced enough, which is fine. And it's a decent enough first match. And after that, we head backstage to the Stephanie McMahon, demands to not have a script, but she doesn't do well, I guess, in the segment without a script. And the Bella twins are in Stephanie McMahon's office, and Stephanie tells them that they need to stay busy while they wait for a contender. So she's setting both of them up with singles matches tonight. And yeah, that segment gets a 60. People love the Bella Twins, obviously, and Stephanie McMahon. So, crowd is white hot. And the first match is going to be Brie Bella versus Mio Sky. And I gave it a creative finish. It gets a 35. It's not good. It's a a roll up. Brie Bella wins. 37 for Brie Bella, 34 for Mio Sky. And yeah, not great. Crowd didn't love it. I'm just trying to get Mio Sky some pop because she's obviously related to Io Sky. I'd like to maybe put them together in the draft potentially. I'm looking at that as an option, but her pop is very low. She's got great in-ring psychology, but she's got a 7 pop right now, which is just terrible. And Brie Bella isn't great in the ring, so I was like, we'll see. Maybe I can get a better match later with Nikki Bella, and we'll see who she faces later on. But after this not so good match, we go to Chase University, where Andre Chase is having Jason Jordan teach a class. And yeah, I figured this is an interesting or creative angle, so I gave it an angle idea. And it was a success. So that's a 60. The crowd loved it. I guess the crowd's loving Chase U, and hopefully that builds some pop for these two, because they're both seen as unimportant to the ECW audience right now. Obviously, we are in Canada, so some people are going to be, less relevant in Canada. But we won't be in Canada next episode. We will be somewhere else, and I will get into that later in the show. A 60 for Chase U segment. I love that. And now we are going into Vince's office, and he is tired of the chaos in the $1 million division, with Lacey Evans' championship. He's talking to them. He tells them he's tired of all the disqualifications, all the interferences. So next up, a no DQ triple threat match between Allie Prince, formerly known as the Bunny, Lacey Evans, and Skylar Story. So that triple threat match is next. Vince McMahon does good. The storyline gains heat, which is good. 53 for that segment. And yeah, we get right into that match where Lacey Evans and Skylar Story team up. Obviously, Allie Prince attacked Lacey Evans last week, so she wants to get revenge, and Skylar just wants to attack her for, interfering in the match. They get some offense off on Allie Prince. Eventually, Skylar Story gets thrown out of the ring, which allows Allie Prince and Lacey Evans to go at each other with weapons and really, beat each other down. And eventually, Skylar Story gets back into the ring. It's a normal triple threat match, and Allie Prince gets the upper hand and is going for her down the rabbit hole on Skylar Story, but she counters it with a super kick, and the match continues. Lacey Evans throws Allie Prince out of the ring, and Allie Prince, rolls right to the center of the outside of the ring. She grabs a chair and just throws it in there. She's looking for more weapons under the ring, just, trying to make it a really chaotic triple threat match. And Skylar Story turns around into a woman's right from Lacey Evans, and Skylar Story falls. As she falls, her head hits the chair that Allie Prince threw into the ring. And Lacey Evans is shocked. She's like, "Oh my gosh, my luck." She goes for the pin. Obviously, Allie Prince is still under the ring looking for more weapons. And 1, 2, 3. Lacey Evans retains, makes her first defense of the $1 million championship. And that match gets a 43. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Story obviously needs to build pop. So does Prince. Lacey Evans is, just recognizable. Allie Prince is getting better at her gimmick, which is good. 38 for her, 39 for Lacey Evans, 35 for Skylar Story, and 43. I'm happy enough. The crowd is still very hot after that match, which we really did not have the crowd last episode. If you watched that was really one of my worst episodes. I'm trying to get the hang of this ECW brand, and I think after the draft, it'll be a lot better once I balance out all 3 brands. But I'm not just gonna hold a mini trade deadline like the real WWE did. I'm just gonna treat this as like a AAA brand until the draft after WrestleMania. After that match, we go backstage again, where Beth Phoenix she's talking to someone off screen when Alicia Fox bursts in. Oh my gosh, Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, still out here in WWE, huh? And Beth says, "Yeah, I'm still going strong. I'm surprised to see you back here." And Alicia Fox says, "Oh no, honey, I'm not here to wrestle. I'm retired. I'm rested. I'm rebranded. I'm a manager now. I'm managing the future stars of ECW and WWE. And I'd like you to meet my first supernova, Selena Sparks." Selena Sparks is just, standing behind Alicia Fox. She pops into frame. She says, "The name Sparks, Selena Sparks, and I don't just shine, I outshine everyone. Tell your girls in the locker room to get ready." And Beth is like, "Wow, you got an attitude. Hopefully you got the ring skills to match that attitude." And Alicia Fox, is laughing at Beth, saying that how silly. Of course, she's got the in-ring ability. Obviously, we know that she doesn't. She's lost the first 3 matches. But I want to try and build her up. We'll see. So I've got some ideas here. After the draft, everything will get easier. But yeah, Alicia Fox is just, "Oh, Beth, you'll see. Selena's here is just not just the future. She's the spark that this division's been dying for, And they strut off together. They're, acting all sassy and crazy. And, Alicia Fox almost trips on a production cable on the way out. And yeah, that segment's not great. I don't know. I'm just I was trying to get these 3 in the segment because I needed another 9 minutes. And the segment probably went on a little too long, which is why it's a 39. But yeah, I just needed to hit the 3-hour mark, and this was the segment that did that. And the crowd's not thrilled with that. But we go back out to the ring where Jinder Mahal is cutting a promo. He says that after talking to Luke Gallows last week, he had an idea. He realized that the older big guys around town are getting targeted. They're getting taken advantage of. Guys like him and guys like Khali here. He declares that it's time for a change in ECW. Not just for him, but for all the big guys like him that the system just pushes to the side and wants to throw out of the company. Jinder says that ECW needs order and tradition and a court to enforce it. So he is introducing his new enforcer, the Great Khali. And that gets a 54, a new stable. It's kind of a cult idea that I have. We'll see where I go with it. But yeah, it's the Maharaja's Court is the newest stable. The first stable, well, the second stable in ECW. Obviously, we've got the Samoan SWAT team. That gets a 54. I need to build up the Great Khali again after having him, job out a few times. And I'm trying to build Jinder Mahal back up. After that, we got just an eye candy match between Kelly and Eva Marie. And yeah, the fans weren't crazy about it, but it's an eye candy match. It got a 43. 64 for Eva Marie, which is, wow. I guess for an eye candy match, that makes sense. And a 54 for Kelly. Yeah, 43. That's fine enough. But hopefully, I don't know. I just needed more wrestling in the show. And Kelly builds her pop a little bit. She wins in 6 minutes. Just a short eye candy match. And we are going backstage after that to Von Wagner, who's, getting an interview with Poppy here. And Von Wagner is talking about how he'd like to get back at Mr. Stone and Zion Quinn when he's interrupted by Mr. Stone. And Stone tells Von Wagner that there will be no getting back as, earlier tonight, Von Wagner signed a non-compete clause that prohibits him from physically attacking Zion Quinn outside of sanctioned matches. And Von's confused. He's, what are you talking about? Stone reveals that he posed as a fan asking for an autograph as Von Wagner was entering the arena tonight. And he got him to sign a document containing that clause. I don't know how he did it. He must have been really sneaky with hiding that it was a document, looking for a signature. Suddenly, Zion Quinn attacks Von Wagner from behind and lays him out before he and Mr. Stone walk away. So yeah, Von Wagner cannot attack Zion Quinn outside of matches anymore. So no getting back, I guess. This is Mr. Stone's way of getting Von Wagner to give Zion Quinn another title opportunity. And that segment gets a 40. That's decent enough. Yeah. Let's see. We go out to the ring where Nikki Bella has her match now, and it's against Tamina. Match gets a 40. That's all right. The crowd isn't loving it, but yeah, I needed to just get more matches, and I decided to get the Bella Twins in matches. And Tamina doesn't do great. This was a 12-minute match. It was way too long. The crowd just did not like it, and it gets a 40. Oh well, whatever. Jinder Mahal is back out, and he's flanked by his new enforcer, Khali, and Luke Gallows, as he was talking about previously. Now, if you all remember, I mentioned Luke Gallows here earlier in the night. Well, I'm offering him my protection and a spot in this court if he can prove himself in a match tonight. And so he gets into the ring and waits for an opponent. And out walks Tyler Breeze. And yeah, Breeze gets the upper hand early. Obviously, I already spoiled the finish here as I had to lift the crowd, which did work. Thankfully, this match gets a 48. But yeah, Breeze gets the upper hand early after a few minutes. Gallows, he takes control of the match. There's a few near falls. Breeze goes for a beauty shot, but Gallows catches him midair and slams him into the ground. He stares at Jinder Mahal before hitting his finisher. He hits a bicycle kick for the win. And yeah, 48, 46 for Luke Gallows, 43 for Tyler Breeze. And Ali Prince is Tyler Breeze. He's someone's manager? I forgot I did that. But she did good work. So I guess she will stay as that manager for, I think, Tyler Breeze. I'll definitely have to look into that. But yeah, 48. I'm happy with that. And I lifted the crowd. They're warming back up to us. And yeah, after that, Shane McMahon comes out to the ring for a confrontation with Lana. Obviously, last week, Lana slapped him, accused him of cheating. And Shane tells Lana that her boy just wasn't ready. She says, "You think beating Desmond once makes you superior? We weren't prepared for your dirty tactics, but tonight I've made arrangements for a rematch." And, it seems Lana is prepared for whatever dirty tactics, she thinks Shane will use. And I say dirty tactics in quotations. Obviously, Shane won clean, and I guess they're having a rematch tonight. 59 for that segment. The crowd is back on our side, thankfully. And that match is next. So Desmond Troy comes out. He gets a lot of power moves off. And he's frustrated. He gets some pin attempts, but none of them are successful. Lana throws a chair into the ring. Desmond grabs it. The ref sees this. There was no ref bump here. He tries to grab it from Desmond, but Desmond kicks the ref away and just starts swinging at Shane. The ref calls for the bell, and Shane McMahon wins by disqualification after 10 minutes. I made this a storytelling match. Desmond Troy with a 27, Shane McMahon with a 46, and the match gets a 45. It's all right. The crowd is happy enough. And yeah, after the match, Shane McMahon just keeps hitting Shane. Desmond Troy just keeps hitting Shane McMahon with a chair. Lana's holding the ref back until Stephanie McMahon comes out and she threatens Desmond Troy. She says if he doesn't stop, then he'll be suspended until after WrestleMania is over, which causes Desmond Troy to reluctantly stop. He walks off with Lana. And yeah, that segment gets a 63. They love Desmond Troy just beating down Shane McMahon, I guess. And a lot of people getting better at their gimmicks. I'm happy to see that. The crowd is hot. I'm very happy. That could have been like last ECW episode where we were really struggling there. And yeah, after that match, Omos, Undertaker, and Bad Bunny are all in the ring. Omos starts by saying that everyone was wondering where he was. They wanted him to come out from the shadows. Well, you know what? I'm back, and I'm crushing all of your favorites. Just ask Bad Bunny here what it feels like to be crushed by the future of the WWE. Undertaker interrupts. He says, Omos, the last time we spoke, all I did was I told you to make a name for yourself. What I didn't say was to do it by attacking one of the most respected men in this locker room and in this company. You want to be a monster? Earn it. You don't make your legacy by cheap shots. You make it by facing the best and beating them straight up. Bad Bunny's been quiet so far. He finally speaks up. Omos, you wanted to make a name for yourself? You picked the wrong guy. But you think I'm soft? Next week, in Puerto Rico, you'll find out just how tough I really am. So, one-on-one, Omos versus Bad Bunny next week when ECW goes to Puerto Rico. And the crowd is white hot, Omos steps towards Bad Bunny, but Undertaker steps in between them and says, Omos, he's not afraid of you, and neither am I. So Omos backs off and, leaves as Bad Bunny and the Undertaker are staring him down. Segment gets a 64. The crowd is white hot now. They love that. And, yeah. To end the show, I have a Divas Championship match between the number one contender, Ronda Rousey, and Trish Stratus. Crowd's white hot going into that match. I love that. I'm so glad we saved the crowd here. Yeah. Well, the match starts. Trish Stratus is evading Ronda Rousey's grappling attempts. But eventually Ronda catches her for a judo toss. She gets control of Trish's back for a few minutes. She's getting some quick shots off. She's talking trash. And then Trish is able to wriggle her way out, avoid an armbar. And she quickly rolls up Ronda Rousey for 1, 2. Oh, Ronda kicks out at 2.5. A near fall there. Ronda's really annoyed now. Ronda gets the upper hand again, hits Piper's Pit, and sets up for another armbar attempt. When suddenly Tegan Knox, her music hits, and she walks out on stage. Ronda gets up, she starts yelling at Tegan Knox, telling her, you want some? Come get some. Come get in the ring. Tegan Knox is just standing on stage, taunting her. Trish Stratus recovers and gets another surprise roll up. 1, 2, 3. Trish Stratus takes advantage of the distraction to retain and make her first defense of the Divas title. A 57 there for Ronda, 56 for Trish Stratus. Poor form for Ronda. Trish is off her game. It only gets a 53. What? Oh, yep. I did have to keep Ronda strong for this match. That's why. That's down a little bit. It would have probably been in the 60s. But it's fine. That's a 53 I can handle. And, Ronda just did not want to lose this match. But Trish Stratus is more popular, and I don't want Ronda in poor form to have a championship run yet. So this is just a way to get her away from the title scene, have her feud with Tegan Knox for a little bit. And yeah, that's the show. It gets a 57, which isn't good. A lot better than last week. I'm glad. Hopefully we start figuring it out. We lose Pop in 49 regions. Obviously, not ideal. But yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, let me know. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more TEW9 content. Leave some feedback in the comments below. Let me know what you're going to see, any booking ideas, what you liked, what you didn't like. Take all constructive criticism, anything. And yeah, I will see you guys for the Go Home episode for the Royal Rumble of WWE Smackdown with main event at the end. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.